Hello, whoever's watching today. Just wanted to record a little bit of a process video of me doing a sketchbook drawing in one of my repurposed old books. And I'm just recording this audio afterwards because I had a considerable amount of background noise. I'm currently in Bangkok, and I like to have the windows open. It gets very noisy. So I'm watching this video back, and I'll record some audio for you about it. This book, I will put some information about in the description, the video description. And I am currently using a number 14B, which is the blackest graphite pencil I could find when I purchased these particular supplies, which I bought in the UK. So right now what you're seeing is I'm just intuitively drawing. I have no plan whatsoever. I don't even think about what I'm doing. I just do it. And right now this is just a 14B graphite pencil. Just making some shapes there, some random shapes. I like using these repurposed books. I like the writing in the background. Of course, I wouldn't sell any of these because I'm using copyrighted material, even though most of these are old. I don't want to be selling anyone's paper that has their written material on it. So now I'm starting with some colored pencil, and I started doing art when I was a kid. I'm 58 now, and I've had long periods of years where I didn't do anything like this, but after just starting back up a few months ago, it comes back pretty naturally, doing things like this, colored pencil. I've used a lot in the past, and I'm just applying, again, just intuitively. I have no plan. I just chose the color that I like. I think this is just a basic red color. And you can layer to get your effects, to get a little bit of dimension. I'm doing darker in the point there of that shape. And I'm just doing a little bit lighter, feathering it down a little bit lighter as I go, and doing it around the edges a little bit. I don't care if I go outside of the lines. I have been doing this particular kind of work in a few different sketchbooks for, just a couple of months now, I guess. And you can see some of these on my Blue Sky social account and on my website from different books. This book I picked up while I was in Amsterdam, visiting Amsterdam, and down the street from my sort of an Airbnb place I was renting, down the street from that, one of the grocery stores in the foyer there, they had a big bookshelf with a bunch of stuff on it that people in the neighborhood would leave for free. And there were books and there were household items, and it's just really interesting. I don't speak the languages, and most of what they had there, but I like that even more for doing artwork on, because I'm not distracted by what the text says, but I do see things I recognize, and I think subconsciously I'm drawn to some of the things because this book is related to some of my interests. This is a Reiki book, and this particular page, which I just turned to randomly to start drawing on, it does have words on it that I recognize, but I don't think of it when I choose the page or start doing the drawing. But now, especially when I'm looking at it, I see words that are relevant to my life or my interests. And so it's all part of some of the art that I'm doing is these books. This was one of the books I picked up on that bookshelf in Amsterdam. So I was just doing some more colored pencil there, purple color, just the same way. I'm not making this a fast video. If you want to speed it up and watch it fast, you can, of course. What else can I say about this? Again, I'm just filling in, just intuitively filling in the space. You can see over there on the left on the other page, you can use a sort of a palette. You can test your colors. Can't remember what your pencil looks like. You can use that facing page, back of the previous page. This particular book was printed. It's like a photocopy. Actually, someone wrote it and then photocopied it. It's not a formal publication, and so it's great for using for writing notes in too, if I want to do that too, because half the pages are blank. So this is purple, and again, I'm doing it a little bit darker around where my outline is. That's something that I kind of like the way that is turning out with some other things I'm doing. It does add some dimension. I'm not intentionally doing it for that reason, but I just like the way it looks. And sorry, it's cut off at the bottom a little bit, but I'm using yellow for my star shape down there, and I'm intentionally pulling in a little bit of the graphite, the black graphite from the outline. I'm intentionally pulling some of that into the yellow. That's going to happen anyway. You're gonna see that happening anyway if you go right up to the line. And on this particular day, I'm doing that on purpose. I'm pulling some of that black in from the outline a little bit, and then you'll see that I go over to the left and I just go ahead and clean off that yellow pencil. I'm just going to clean that black off of there now before I put it back in the box, and I don't have to worry about it. Back into it a little bit more there. And then this is something I don't do quite as much. I picked up my graphite again, and I'm going in and just adding a little bit of shading there on the outside of the star. Oh no, it's a little bit strange, but that's what's happening there. There's not a whole lot more to talk about this drawing. Well, I'm getting my gum eraser out there. I wasn't real happy with that pencil shading that I did there because it just was too, the lines were too well defined, and it turned out that I was able to quiet that down with my eraser, which is great. And looks like I'm going in and adding a little more of that black from the eraser to the yellow. And you can just clean your eraser off. Again, just before you even put it down, you can just clean it off a little bit. And your sketchbooks are great for that. And I think that's about it for this one. I was in process of getting out my oil sticks and decided to stop. So just a little a little bit of drawing and coloring for you there.